So let's begin. Good morning, everyone. So we are continuing now. Why don't we finish Eis Dalet? So just a few words, Mamish, to put things in context. What are we talking about?
We didn't finish Eis Dalet.
Yeah, we didn't finish Eis Dalet, right? So what are we talking about? We're talking about the Eitzer that is given to the foot soldier, you and I, in order to achieve the ultimate victory of vanquishing the enemy that seeks to destroy us and to establish and make this world a Diddle Yisborach. So the Eitzer, as Frierdiker Rebbe says, is that's only given again for such a victory when all is at stake. The Eitzer is expressed in the words in the Zohar that Ein Sof L'mayla Adin Ketz. That quotation continues and says L'mata Mata Adin Tachlis. The Frierdiker Rebbe says, and the Rebbe is in the middle of explaining all of this, that notwithstanding the fact that we're talking about Ein Sof, which would ostensibly mean that there cannot be division or levels. We're talking Ein Sof, an infinite. That's the whole point. It's beyond division. Nonetheless, the Frierdiker Rebbe says that these are two levels, and there's a great difference between them. And that's what we're explaining in now, level after level. The Moishe the Frierdiker Rebbe gives is a Rav and a Talmud, two kinds of hashpah, makif hakorev and makif harochek. The makif hakorev, that's the moshel for lamata mata adin tachlis. The hashpah that's makif harochek is a moshel for lamayla adin ketz. And in a word that means that the Rav is giving over something that even he, in his seichel, is not articulable. We addressed this over several shiurim. This is sosum v'nelam. It's a giloi. It is a giloi, but it's a giloi within self and not articulable. It cannot be articulated. Sorry. That's the Eitzer. That is the Eitzer that is given, and it cannot be given directly because it cannot be apprehended. So it's given in a moshel, in a chiddah, in a story. That's how the Eitzer Shalamayla is conveyed in Torah. And he spoke about Shlomo Melech and the 3,000 Masholim, etc. So it is conveyed, but it's not conveyed in the pnimius way. You have it, but not pnimius in the sense that it cannot be answered in seichel and not felt by the heart, at least not the chitzonius alev. That's the Eitzer that is given. Now, we addressed this at length. The ramifications of this, what this is implying. Amongst other things, it means that dafke, as we deal with Helim v'Hester, that's the point. We're in Helim v'Hester. What are we given to combat it and transform it? The deepest sosum Helim that can't be revealed. It's beyond revelation. That's what we have. This is the Atmizdika treasure. It's sosum v'nelam l'mayla adin ketz helem acha helem stima the called stimin. He brought the Mittel Rebbe a whole beer, hidden from the hidden. Hidden stam is Eilemus Bligvol. Hidden stam is Ein Sof. But this is hidden from hidden, which means it's not relatively hidden. Fundamentally hidden. What does that mean? We explained yesterday. You cannot describe God, period. God cannot be expressed in any way, shape, or form, in any gilui. That's what's meant by sosim of sosim. Adam Madregas that God manifests is relatively beyond us. And there is a word for them, a very nice word. It's called Ein Sof. It's called infinite. It's a beautiful word. That's a huge description. Not direct, it's indirect. With all of the milas and chesreinis, it's a gilui. Atzmos, there's nothing to say about Atzmos other than he exists. And that's also a limitation because he's not a motzoi in the way that we know existence. He's motzoi in a motzoi in the words of the Rambam. But that's the truest thing we can say that God is. And that's what this gilui says. God is, but nothing. So what is God? Cannot be a gilui. That's what the Eitzer is. That's the Don Eibishter that's given over to you. packaged in a story and in an inyan and in a pashat halacha, and that's given to every Jew and revealed dafka the Deir Hashvi, not before, in the final battle. In essence, it's been all along. But when is it? Begolui mamish, and squandered and given to everyone. It's the Deir Hashvi, the end of Golus, to effect the victory. And that's through the officer, the Nosi of the Deir Hashvi. He's the one that gives over the treasure of the Melech of the Eibishter to every Jew. Did you hear this part, Dubi? You didn't hear this? Okay, just try and listen, because this was a new Oisius, simpler Oisius, explained everything. So you'll hear it later, Be'ez Hashem. So concluding Ois Dalet, so the mashal for this, there's two mashalim. Again, we started saying, the Makif HaKorov is a seichel that the Rav wants to give over that is beyond the Talmud, but within his realm. So eventually he'll get not just the surface, which he gets right away, he'll get the pnimius also, 40 years later, if that's what it takes. He'll unravel and unravel and unravel and deepen it gradually until he understands the seichel like the Rav did. But that's the Chatchil is such a seichel. I mean, I said this to Dubi also. It's important to hear the beginning of the shir, because we gave new language for the whole thing, because this is extremely abstruse. And what are we talking about? So it'll be helpful to hear it going further. Like we say, nobody should get offended. The beginning of the shir is often the most important part of the shir, because it gives the context of what's coming. And gels what we learned till now. Otherwise, it's throwing, paint at a canvas. Another bit. So what's the second marshal? As we said, is a seichel that even by the Rav, it's not articulated in structure, but it's a seichel. And I'm saying in the nimshal, what that means is, it's the statement that there is an Eibishter. That's the highest revelation of God, is the statement there is a God. And that cannot be articulated in any way, shape, or form. Fundamentally. But it's information. It's a gilui. Mizal wissen sein, you should know, Siddhan Eibishter. Period. That's l'cha'ira. That's the nimshal here. That's the oitzer, that fundamental truth that is given. There is God and He's with you here and now in the trenches. That is given over to the soldier, to the Poshet Yid, and everybody above him. But by the Rav, it's not articulated. Because there can be no gilui that can in any way encapsulate God other than He is. Nothing to be said about Him. The best we can say is stimmer the chol stimmer. He's not just beyond, He's beyond. They could say the word beyond again, but you're not getting anything. That's recognizing the limitation of language. Stimmer the chol stimmer. But nigmar, it ends there, because there's no point in adding more words. Not infinite, beyond infinite. Nothing more to say. But now he says the last lines of his Dalet. In the second moshel of the Rav, which is the moshel to bring out the oitzer, which is the marshal to bring out the Maila Din Ketz, which is a marshal to bring out the Stimmer, the Chol Stimmen. They're all same words for each thing, just different words. We're not giving over something that is not shaykh to Talmud. It is. Now in the Nimshal, what does it mean? It's shaykh, everybody, it's shaykh that everybody should know to the core of their being as a dagot. So that kind of revelation is shaykh. That's the old kavanah. If we can't know there's a God, then it's all pointless. That's the old dira b'tachtonim. So he's conveying this. If it would be not shaykh at all, mamish atzmos, not even that there is a God. Period. God. It's not shaykh, not even makif. It's not even makif. Afilo makif arochek. Ela kavono linyonei harav sheyesh lo mshayches al hatalmud. The Rav is the mashal for the Eibishter. What's the inyonim of the Rav that has a shaykhus to the Talmud? That's the atmistic connection. I'm putting a lot of words in the Maimon that the Maimon is not saying, but nobody else says either. So what I'm going to tell you, someone else said. The neshama. Why should there be a connection between the Rav and the Talmud? A simple question. He gets a good salary, so he's got to say everything that's in his head to the Talmud. He's got to give the makif, the seichel, which is shaykh, and he's got to give the seichel that's not shaykh. It's not shaykh to the Talmud. So goodbye, Talmud. Just stay with it yourself. Why are you even giving this over? In the mashal and the chidduh. In the nimshal, it's easier to see. Because the neshama is a chelek alakamim al mamish. And it's all the whole kavanah of Direk Tachtenim is for the neshama. As the neshama comes down into the guf. So, what is it that's shaykh to the Talmud? L'chayra. I'm open to, you can, any explanation you want to give. Any listener, send me your notes. Send me your voice notes. Argue with me. I'm happy to hear. In the nimshot, it's easier to see. It means pashut. That Eibishter wants us to know that there is a God, and not just know it, it's filed away. Given over to you, that's the oitzer. You are not alone. I am with you, mamish there. And you draw on my essence. You draw on me to effect the victory and make against the enemy, and then make the dira b'tachtonim. This is what he means. Shayches al Talmud. Shayches al Talmud. So kavod dira b'tachtonim. It's all for the Talmud. It's all for the Talmud. Me and you in the trench. And the shayches befen shal makif arochek. Again, this is the connection to this truth. It's fundamentally beyond seichel, beyond even any experience of the heart. It's much deeper than that. You know what it translates in? Again, l'chora, I'm open to all rebuttals and discussions. It translates in, I am a Yid. This deep sense that I am a Jew. That's the Eitzer. And when a Yid plugs into that, he overcomes everything in the tunnels of Gaza. That was this Gala. I'm a Yid. That's the Eitzer. It's so simple. What does it mean? And that doesn't even know. They don't even know anything. It's just higher than any knowledge and experience. And the emes is, even if you know the Kol HaTorah Kula and the whole Paradis, the I am a Yid, you can't know that. Can't just find that. Mizaktis. Ato, there's Eibishter, there's the Atzmus of the Yid. It's fundamentally sosum. It's fundamentally beyond any articulation for any gather. That's what's given in the Eitzer. That's what's firing away, exploding. The soldier's empowered with. I'm a soldier. I'm a Yid. Nothing stands in his way. And nothing can obstruct that. Nothing in creation is bottled by Metzias. When this is revealed, What's he's revealing? I'm a Yid and I'm connected to Atzmus. Can the world melts? And we saw glimpses of this in the last moments of Golos in the tunnels. The guy, a murderer, killed and raped with his own hands. She's lighting Shabbos candles. Okay, it's a candle. It's glimpses. This way in Golos. This is Cheshech, Kofel, and Mechupel. But in this is the Sos. The Rebbe is showing us glimpses. He's just begging us, everybody, please embrace this and end the craziness already. Me, you, in our lives, live like this. The Rebbe clearly tried to take us direct. It's 30 years, dragging out. We're not going backwards. We're just slogging forward, and it gets deeper and crazier. We need to have in the Gaza of tunnels. Say, Nisav HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe tried to take us. But it was not a failed mission. Not a failed mission. Could be then, and it's even more so going to be now. And every directive and every maimon, every hero just speaks louder and stronger and more relevant and more critical. If we'd use the Oitzer, we'll end it sooner. That's all. It's not less. It's just more, painfully more. Weiter. Is second paragraph is Dalit. If I'm shouting, I can't hear my voice. I don't know if it's what I'm saying. It's I will not describe what's in my head. It's my problem, I choose. But Yuvan Yemakif HaRochok, now we're zeroing in on the Eitzer. On the one hand, it's distant. If it's surrounding or hovering or transcending, implicit is that it's surrounding something. So he's going to take a part now. It's beyond but connected. That's what we're saying. Beyond but connected. Now, not just beyond. Makif HaRochek is beyond. Makif Stam is beyond. Makif HaKorev. So the Pele here is, it's beyond, but still connected. So that was going to explain. Back to Masha Kosvat, you see he's going through all the Rabbi. This Maim, the Alter Rebbe, mit Rebbe, that's a Machzedek. Sefer HaMitzvah Derech Mitzvah Sechon Derech Tzvisecho, Bebi Kolosin HaMakiv, he addresses there, the union of Makiv, Shegam Hu Pel Polosa. Makiv does not mean disconnected. No, it has effect on consciousness, on behavior. Talking b'nefesh Adam. And he's going to explain now. We want to understand the Makif above. But to understand that, we'll address the Makif that is with us. From within my flesh, says the Pasuk in Iyuv, I behold Hashem. Please, do you tell me why that is so? I mean, on the surface, it's a preposterous statement. For within my flesh, I behold God. So what's the answer? Push it. Allah base. Anybody? Why is that? How is that? It's not a trick question. You all know the answer, no?
Oitzer.
Huh?
From the Oitzer. From the Oitzer.
I can't hear you.
From the Oitzer that's built in.
From the Oitzer, you bet push it. So this quote is a lot. From within my flesh, mipsari, echsa behold godliness, which means by understanding the way I work, I understand the way things work l'mayla. Why?
Why?
I'm asking you, what does this mean and why?
So we can understand them because
you're telling me, you're giving me why, what's the point? But I'm asking you, how could it work? Look in here, understand there. Because what? Yeah. But the chelik alekah be'emes, that's beyond all gedorim. We're talking about our seichel, my midas, the guf. Friends, you don't have to go very far. It's the first opening in the opening psukim in Bereshis. Nasa Adam betzalmeinu kid museinu. Hashem says He's going to make man in our image and form. Abish has image and form. What does this mean? Yes, Abish the man is as a spheres and all kinds of levels. Every level that exists l'mayla as a parallel in both the nefesh and the guf lamata. B'tzelem elikim nivra adam. Pirkei Avos is based on this pasuk. We're made in the image and form of God. Now you please tell me, why is that? We are made physically, the physical body, the 613 parts of the body, there's a head, one head, two eyes, every detail. It all mirrors the divine. Madua. It's nice. Thank you. It's a nice compliment. But why? It's one answer, simple answer. I didn't bring any guns today. I'm not going to shoot anybody down. Left them at home. Because the whole point of creation is He wants a relationship with little me and you, which makes us now everything, because He wants that relationship. That's the purpose of the entire creation. That's the motive, the chosen, the decided motive for everything is a relationship with us. And a relationship means you have to have commonality. You can't have a relationship with someone that you don't share anything in common with. It's hard to get emotional over a stone. You look at the stone, keep on looking. It's hard to get excited or upset or joyous. A plant, a little more, it's growing. You put water, there's a response. An animal, your dog, the man's best friend. And hopefully, human beings, you have the deepest relationship because you share the most in common, especially when what you're sharing in common is what you're missing, the other one has. That's even deeper. That's marriage. So our relationship with God is a marriage. So, sorry, we are built, Kashmirs and Ruchanis, Nefesh Abamis, and certainly Nefesh Alikis, everything, mirroring all the Madreges Lamaila, because that's the point of it, the relationship with us. Which is why, to understand Chassidus properly, if we're not fooling ourselves, we should be able, every single darga spoken, Lamaila, a parallel. It's not always so easy to see that. Certainly when it comes to the Svidus, Chachma, Bin Rotzen, Tainuk. Because that's why He manifested it. That's why. Why did He choose to reveal this way? So that we have an appreciation. How can you appreciate it? If you have it within yourself, you can appreciate it. And understand it, and relate, and connect. My chesed, it's Hashem's chesed, my seichel, the Eibishter's seichel, etc. Okay. So now we're talking Makifarocha. So what is it? What is the dogma? Says the Tzemach Tzedek. What's the dogma for Makifarocha? Mikoyach harotzen. Rotzen. We'll see two levels. Rotzen is a makif. Now we're talking now benefesh adam. So now we're starting, before we get to Rotzen, let's talk about the conscious self. The Gashmis. It's talking now Pasha the Guf. The nefesh and the Guf. An alive body. Each limb has an energy that's invested in it and tailored to it. And moreover, as it goes, this you say inside. Every limb has a different spiritual, call it spiritual, different life force, human life, that's invested in each limb according to its makeup. The ability to see is invested in the eye. The soul, the nefesh, the lowest level, this is the nefesh that animates the body, the nefesh becomes expressed in division. Like there are different limbs, and the eye is different than the ear. So the koyach ha're'iyah, this is the nefesh is mitzamtzim itself by divine. God does this, and there's a level of nefesh deeper, which is pure energy, pure life. That's common to every part of the body. That's a deeper level. We're talking the manifested level. The DNA is the same everywhere, but the external structure and the makeup and the fabric of the eye is different than the ear. Every limb is different. The core essence is the same, but the way it's manifested externally is different. The nefesh, same thing. There's the pshitus of the nefesh. You're alive. When you're talking about being alive, you're not more alive in the eye or there in the nose or in the finger. Life is life. But then there's the external, how it expresses itself, the koyach ha're'iyah, the koyach ha'shmiyah. The eye, and so the power to see is where? In the eye. The power of movement in the foot. And you cannot compare the sophistication of the soul invested in the brain and the mind. It's different than what's invested in the heart. Biyad, or the hand, or beregel, the foot, certainly much lower, simpler forms of life. That's koiches pnimiyim. Pnimiyim means invested consciously, the pnimius, each limb getting its appropriate energy that through which by which it's alive and functions. Basically 613 different projections. 248 for the limbs, 365 for the gidim. That's a koiches pnimiyim. Yesh gam inyan harotzen. Then there's rotzen, will. K'mei harotzen lahaskel. The will, I want to understand. Harotzen lirois, I want to see. Harotzen leilech, I want to walk. Sha'af shebola de pearl binyan askola. So the will ends up, let's say the case I want to understand. What's the net result? You're learning. That's a particular activity that you're doing. Hare'iyah, I want to see. So you look, you see. Halecha, you want to go, your feet go. Because mokim, it's not like the rotzen it doesn't have the same relationship with the foot, the eye, or the mind as the koiches pnimiyim do. It's not like the rotzen becomes tailored now and invested by that particular keli that the will is directing. In that case, there would be division in the will. The will to understand would not be the same as the will to see or to go. And you might be saying, well, they're not the same wills. But they are. He makes a fact and he would explain it. We speak about pure will. That property is the same in whatever the will happens to want. That's the detail. But the will is the same. Why? Here's the word the Chassidus uses all the time, these two words. Netiyas hanefesh. Netiyas hanefesh means the soul's literally inclination. I want. In a word, friends, it's about I want. It's not about that. It's I want. The emphasis is I want. To understand this a little bit clearer, Rotzen, there's one will that Rotzen has. It's one will. I want to exist and I want to express myself. I want to be free. I want to express myself. And that's the hand, the foot, everything. So now I want this, now I want that. But that's all really rooted in the tiyas hanefesh. The nefesh wants self-expression. in whatever that's required at this moment, at this time, whatever's appropriate. But tracing it back, simple, just make this simple. It's simple marshal. It's not a marshal, it's not a marshal, it's a dogma, illustration. You get up in the morning, you got to make a living. It's one thing. There's one rotzen. I want to make a living, put bread on the table. You're going to do a million different things because of that rotzen. Very different. Right now, your conversation, now you're getting in the car, now you're flying. There's going to be lots of very different engagements. But the rotzen is one and the same thing. Stop the guy, like, why are you doing this? Answer is, I got to make panos to finish. It's one answer to everything I'm doing. Making panos is part of being alive and being able to express myself. Freedom, to be liberated. That's a deep expression of the will. Not to be contained. Free expression. So whatever it takes, whenever it takes. And it's in everything. So that's what it means. Rotzen is not about, I need this thing. Circumstances could change it. I don't need that thing. I'll start a new business and the whole thing is over. I'll stop looking there. I'll be looking elsewhere. So it's not about the thing. It's my natiyah, my expression, my success. So whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. So it itself is no ischalkos. It affects everything, of course. And it affects every limb. Even though the individual limb functions because not of the rotzen, the function part is because there's a part of the nefesh that is the koyach to see, that's in the eye. There's a part of the nefesh that the power to hear is in the ear. That's true. But why should it all be expressed? That I should use my mind and think, I want and see and go and halach and go somewhere. What's going to fire it all is the rotzen. I want to live, I want to experience, I want to. So the rotzen is what's firing all of these individual limbs and dimensions and aspects and levels of consciousness, mind, heart, behavior, etc., seeing, hearing. It's not infected particularly in this. Keli, that's what's meant makiv. The conclusion is, rotzen affects and is really the cause of why I'm going. Even though the actual kayach halicha is a unique ability that's separate from the kayach, from the mind or the heart. So it's pile on everything, but it's not nitfis. It isn't defined by that thing. Again, if going to another place is going to get me better results, I'm not going there, I'm going to go here. The rotzen determines what I should see, where I should go, and what I should learn. And what's the rotzen? Tiyas nefesh. I want to be a success. I want to live. I want to grow. I want to be successful, and I want to express myself. It's all about the self, and it's going to be in whatever the circumstances will. You have a question? That's bechlola. So now we're going to explain the two makifs. Why? Because this is the moshel of the Rav. To explain the Maile Madin Ketz and Madin Tachlis. Both are makif. The first seichel the Rav gives over, the lower level, the depth right now is beyond, but it's accessible. So now we're going to have two makifs, makif HaKorev, makif HaRochak. These are concepts we're familiar with. Levushim, bias.
But within Ratzon.
Pardon?
Now we're using Ratzon as a mashal for it rather than safe, right?
They're mashalim for Ratzon.
So now we're using Ratzon as a mashal. Before we use the seichel of the Rav, now we're using Ratzon as a mashal. Before we used the seichel of the Rav was the
Before we use what?
The Rav seichel. As the mashal.
With two seichels.
Yeah.
One korev and one rochek. Now we're zeroing in rochek, two levels.
Well, Ratzon here.
No, sorry, wrong. In the Rav was two mashal, both makiv, one close, one far. That he's going to go now. He just gave bechlolos rotzens makiv, and now he's going to give rochek and korev, matching the two mishalim of the Rav. A seichel that is beyond, but tomorrow I'll get it. A seichel fundamentally beyond. Just looking ahead, he's got to invoke, I think it's going further than that, bias and levush. Both makiv, one korev, one rochek. That's the where it's going. But I see it's going to be chidushim, so Be'ezer Hashem.